see where we can go, you know, whatever. So, you know, I put the phone down, closed my eyes, and allowed the tiredness to take over me. So when that happened, it happened pretty rapidly, you know what I'm saying? I could feel my body starting to lose feeling, and I lost the sense of laying on the couch. Like, it didn't feel like I was laying down. I couldn't tell if I was standing up and laying down, and that's always like a indicator for me that I'm about to separate from my body. Okay, but this time it happened a little bit more rapidly, so it happened pretty quick. So I felt like I was levitating above the couch, like that I was laying on, but I felt completely weightless. It was, you know, it was just like boom, like I never fell asleep at all. Like it was just like a quick snap of the finger from being on the couch with a numbing body, with a body that's going through numbness, to all of a sudden now I'm looking through closed eyelids, levitating above the couch cushions. When I separate, I can see through my eyelids, so I can't tell when my eyes are closed or not. So sometimes I feel like it relaxes me more when I'm on the other side and I just close my eyes, but I can still see through my eyelids. So that's something to take note of. Anyway, so I'm looking up at the ceiling, and you know, I look to the left. I roll over to the left to look at the wall, which is what the couch is against. So, you know, but I'm still horizontal. I'm still laying horizontal, and with my arms to my side. That's what I'm feeling. And then so I'm like, all right, let me look at the ceiling. Let me make sure, you know, I'm not imagining this. I look at the ceiling, and then I roll over to where I'm looking down at the couch, and I see myself there sleeping with the cord coming out of my torso, my stomach area. The cord is, for those of you that don't know, it's what attaches you to your physical shell. So you'll see that cord when it's attached to you as well, if you're actually looking down and you can pay attention and you see it, and it leads to your body. It's just like in a, I don't know, it's just like an attachment of yourself to your physical shell, kind of like a reminder. I don't know, that's what it feels like hey, you're still grounded no matter what, you know, you're still able to go back to your body, whatever. So I turn to look back up at the ceiling. This time when I turn to look back up at the ceiling, I see the ceiling, but I notice that there's a face in front of me, like literally like 2 to 4 inches from my face. I don't know, it's not that far, it's like right here. So it was blurred out, and it kind of looked like a person's face. And when I started to realize that, I know I started to kind of freak out a little bit on the inside. I'm just like, oh shit. It caught me off guard. So, but you know, once my sight focuses on what's in front of me, it's the infamous old hag. That's what it looks like. You know, she had wrinkles on her face, like thin, raggedy white hair, and she was making a threatening face, like as if to purposely scare me back into my body. So I seen this, and mind you, it was the most horrific sight I've seen in a while. Like, and I was completely awake, so it felt like I have not been asleep yet. So I was completely awake, and I'm like, oh shit. I'm like, this is about to ruin my experience. Like, I knew it. I knew it was gonna ruin. Like, I knew I was gonna, like, be back in my body, and I was just like, fuck. When it was happening, but before I got too excited, you know, when my vision started getting shaky and things started, like, dissolving around me, like, at a rapid rate. Like, that's what happens before I go back to my body, I've noticed. Like, things start to fall apart, sort of in the background as I'm fading back into my physical shell. And I'll start to, like, hear a certain sound or whatever before I return back to my physical shell, and it sounds like the rumbling of an oncoming train, or the rumbling of the ground before a major earthquake. Like, that's what it sounds like. And then, you know, bam, I'm back in my body. But when I started to hear that, I was like, you know what? I'm not just gonna allow this negative energy to be around me when I go back into my body. Like, I need to get rid of it. So I pictured, and I've heard this in a guided meditation video here on YouTube. If I find it, I'll share the link. But it was talking about covering yourself with light, like really bright light that shined and filled the room. And that's exactly what I envisioned in order to combat this negative energy that was around me, because obviously it wasn't out of my mind. It was something that was drawn there, and negative entities on that side, they feed off of your life force. I'll get more into that. But so yeah, I know better, and I know at that time I knew how to defend myself. I could just will them away, but with my mind. But for some reason that thought came to mind, like, fill yourself with energy, cover yourself with energy, cover the room with positive light and energy. And that's what I started to do, and then the negative entity came to life, like, in a very negative way, obviously. But it came to life like it was more animated. It wasn't just standing there like a mannequin, like, just there to intimidate me. It started to move, and it had its own personality, like its own voice. And it was screaming, and it was telling me things telepathically. I don't know if that's a word. Through telepathy. And I just remember, like, thinking, like, oh, this is too much. Like, and I seen the thing go through the wall. Like, when I was like, you know, I'm filling the room with light, and the room got really, really bright. It was like, I just remember thinking, like, oh shit, like, this room's gonna catch fire. Like, it was so bright, like the light filling the room, and I watched the negative entity dissipate, all the while being pushed through the wall of the room where the couch was at. And when all that was happening, you know, that just, in a snap, I'm back in my body. Because it was like, it was too much at once, like. But I've always heard about people telling me, like, you can combat them. And what I mean is, like, certain people on YouTube that have talked about it. I forget his name. His name is like Rich something. He's an older guy. But he was talking about it, and this was like at least 3 or 4 years ago when this happened. But I wanted to try it for myself. Like, oh, I want to combat the negative entity. I might as well, because, like, it's not going away, and you know, I gotta do something. So let's get some practice with that. That's what I was thinking. Like, let's get some practice with that. Let's get some practice with facing a negative, scary motherfucking entity that usually most people will be running from right now. Let's use that time to practice defending myself on the astral side, or let's use that time to get rid of a negative entity around me that could possibly be affecting me in the physical world, because they're around to suck on your life force and give you negative feelings. You know, that's what they are. It's not all a figment of your imagination. I've heard a lot of people saying that, like, oh, when you get scared, all of a sudden, you know, you might see a demon or like the boogeyman pop up. But that might be true, but that doesn't mean that there's not negative energy around you already that's doing that for you to make you scared and to feed off of your energy. That's already happening for a lot of us. Like, we're not making that ourselves. That shit is around doing it to us. And that's a whole another topic for this. But this is my first experience with well, not my first experience with it, but we'll say this is the creepy encounter I had with the method, which I'm going to talk about now. It's the method where you go to sleep and you set your alarm to wake you up like 4 to 5 hours after you've been asleep, and you'll stay awake for 30 minutes, and then you'll lay down on your back or your side or whatever, and then you'll let your body fall back asleep with the intention to astral project. I did this without knowing about that, and then I came across some guy who was talking about that technique, saying if you really wanted to experience an OBE, that's how you would do it, and it works more easily. Well, he's not lying. I've tried it that way a few times, and it, like, without effort, I'm able to separate from my physical body. But anyway, I did it that night without knowing that was a technique. You know, I just woke up naturally too early. I got up, I had to use the restroom, then I drank me some water and started watching YouTube videos, you know what I mean? Then I was falling back asleep. And then, you know, I separated. And that's when I had the idea, like, oh, I want to astral project. But who knew that was a method? Like, I wasn't even aware. But yeah, I have a few stories where I've been scared shitless. If you have any stories that are similar, leave them in the comments. You know, let me know what you thought about the video. Like, subscribe, do all that good stuff. And good luck with your astral travels. Until next time, this is Astral Minds.